Hello everyone, and welcome to your no-nonsense beginner guide to playing the Italian game. This is a great beginner opening, and I've designed this video to show you everything you need to know to start playing this opening as soon as possible. So, the actual opening comes after we play pawn up to e4, black will play pawn up to e5, which is especially common at the beginner level, and will now go knight to f3 here, attacking black's pawn, and most of the time here, black will go knight to c6 and defend it, which will be what most of the video here is about. But they also have two pretty common sidelines. The first one is pawn to d6, the Philidor Defense, defending their pawn like this, but this is quite passive, and we can get an advantage by playing d4 here. We're once again attacking their pawn, so they will capture us, we'll recapture, and let's say black now plays knight to f6 here, attacking the pawn, we can just play like knight to c3 defending. If they go bishop e7, we can just play like bishop c4, and after castles, we just have an advantage here because we have much more space in the center, and black's bishop on e7 is especially bad. Their other, a bit better sideline here is the move knight to f6. This is the Russian game counterattacking our e-pawn, and we're going to play the move pawn up to d4 here, immediately striking in the center and attacking their e-pawn. If they capture our e4 pawn, then we're going to capture on e5 with our knight. And after something like d5 here, we'll play bishop to d3 attacking, and we just have a pretty symmetrical position. After like c6, we can castle here, we'll play moves like c3, knight to d2, and we really do not have any real problems in our position. Their other move they can try is to capture on d4 with their pawn, and here, instead of just recapturing back immediately, we're going to play the move pawn up to e5 here, annoying them and attacking their knight. That way, after they move, now we can capture, and it comes with tempo, so if they move again, and after like knight to c3 here, we just have an advantage because we have much more development and a nice pawn in the center. So those are the two sidelines, but now let's get into the main line, which is the move knight to c6 here, defending the pawn in the center, and here we get the official start of the Italian game with bishop to c4 here. What this move does is we put pressure on the f7 pawn, and we are preparing to castle, which we'll do in pretty much every single variation. And black has two main moves here, which are both equally common, those being bishop to c5 and knight to f6. I'll look at bishop to c5 first. This is called the Giuoco Piano, and what you're going to play here is the move pawn to c3. The idea of this move is we are very simply going to play the move pawn to d4, striking the center, and black does not really have a good way to stop it. If they just play a move like pawn to d6 here, then after d4, we're just doing, very well. Let's say they trade, we can just capture back with our pawn. They can give one puny check, but we would simply block, and we just have an advantage here because we have a very big center of two pawns and more development. A bit of a better try here, instead of pawn up to d6, would be a move like knight to f6, and this is one line here which you should know. You're going to strike in center once again with d4, that does not change. Let's say they capture, we're going to recapture, and they give this check right here. We're going to block with the bishop on d2. And what this move does is we're offering a trade here. If they capture, we can just capture back with the knight, and after like castles here, we still have two big pawns in the center, and we are doing quite well, but they can try to take an extra pawn by capturing on e4 here. And nothing's actually defending the pawn, but we are completely fine here because we can capture, they recapture, and now the very nice move here, bishop takes on f7 check. The idea here is that after they capture, we can play a very nice queen to b3, we get this fork, let's say pawn to d5, we capture, the engine says this is about equal, but we're going to castle, we have a very safe position, and black has a very awkward king on f7. So that is what to do against the Giuoco Piano. You are doing quite well in those variations with the move pawn up to c3 here, but their other sideline they can play is the move knight to f6 here. And the move I'm going to recommend is knight to g5. This is the knight attack, and what we're doing is we're being very aggressive right out of the gate. We're attacking the f7 pawn, so if they just play something random, we can capture, they get forked, and they're already completely losing. So because of that, the move that is almost universally played here is pawn up to d5, at which point you're going to capture with your pawn. Now, the main line here is the move knight to a5, At the beginner level, this is not very common, attacking our bishop. If you do face this, you're simply going to play pawn up to d3 here, and there's not too much. They can capture, but we can simply capture back. Now our pawn in the center is very well defended. We're going to simply be able to castle, play moves like knight to c3 and develop, and we are doing quite well here. But most people are going to capture back on d5 with their knight, and this marks the fried liver attack after knight takes on f7. And this opening is an absolute monster at the beginner level. The point here is that after they capture back, we play queen to f3 here, and we're forking their knight and king. So if they just like drop back, then we can simply capture. Now black cannot castle, we're up a pawn. We're also threatening a checkmate, so if black just plays like knight to d4 here, queen to f7 is already checkmate. So you can already see black can lose quite fast. Their best move here is king to e6, which is extremely brave, jumping into the center to defend the knight. We're going to play the move knight to c3 here. Attack the knight once more. You will likely never see this at the beginner level, but if black does know the move knight to b4 here to defend their knight in the center, we can simply castle. And we're doing quite well. We're going to strike in the center with d4, rook to e1, attack black's lone king in the center, and we are doing quite well here. And lastly, if they do not play either of those two main variations, if they play something else like pawn to h6 here, the move you want to keep in mind is d4. Immediately striking in the center, and after light captures, you capture back. If we get this big trade in the center, this just benefits us because we have a nice pawn and more development. We're then simply going to be able to castle, and we already have a nice advantage. Alright, thank you so much for watching this quick beginner guide. I hope you have a great day. Subscribe for more videos like this, and I will see you next time.